Hello, everyone. Welcome to Xplanated, episode 2 from JonFly. You'll have to forgive me for being a little under the weather during this vlog. I recently traveled to New York and Connecticut and got a nice bug. Was pretty sick there for a few days. We're on the upslope for that though. So, several of you saw episode 1 of Xplanated, and I was very happy that a number of you have made comments to me, both on the YouTube site, Facebook groups, and also directly. That you appreciated the content, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about what I learned this past weekend with regard to air traffic control. So I was referring in the episode 1 that the Pilot Edge controllers and the Pilot Edge pilots were maybe bringing in a little bit of sarcasm and frustration in their tone, and things were just maybe not being as professional as they could be. Now, I agree with that still, but with that being said, some of you have seen the YouTube video that I produced where Max and Josh and I were flying out of KJFK. And it was amazing to me how many pilots and controllers in the real world, not only on that taxi and takeoff, but approach control and also the different towers and different things. Well, mostly at JFK, there was a lot of sarcasm and there was a lot of frustration and repeats and people getting angry. And now, granted, JFK has a lot of international airplanes, airlines that come in, and the English is a second language. But it was interesting to me that Pilot Edge mirrored the world. That when people make mistakes or don't read back something correctly, or maybe they should have written it down before they read it back. All these, big, huge 787s and A380s, they weren't the most proficient on the radio, and the ground control at JFK was, you could tell he was getting a little frustrated. But then, within a few seconds or a few transmissions later, he's forgetting about it because it probably happens all the time. So with that being said, I'm all about creating an environment for people to learn, but I will say that Pilot Edge does mirror the real world in more ways than one. So a lot of good there. All right, well, Flight SimCon, there's several of you that did go to Flight SimCon. I met some great people. I even have listened to a few vlogs talking about Flight SimCon. It was a lot of fun. By the way, I'm just taxiing out of Phoenix here on a flight that I just did, going over to Albuquerque. But anyway, I met several people. I flew commercially out there, met up with Josh J. Gibbs, and then Max picked us up in the Cirrus. And again, you can find in my channel the YouTube link to the taxi, and also pretty soon the takeoff and tour of Statue of Liberty, Lower Manhattan, and up to Westchester, White Plains area. So anyway, it was I can't say thank you enough to Josh and Max for making it a very memorable trip. The following day, we did get up and we flew to Connecticut for Flight SimCon. There I was able to meet great guys like Cat Strader. Really enjoyed having a face-to-face with Cat Strader. He had a lot of people come up to him and talk to him about how they appreciate his his content, etc. So and I appreciate you taking time to talk to me and bring me into your card game there that you had going on with Mr. Frugal and Mr. Faviano and friends. So that was kind of fun, and also let me have a little bit of your Pinot Noir. Also met Rush, Aerosim Gaming, and great guy. Learned a lot about engines. We did a tech talk live there at the museum. It was a lot of fun. His channel is just going to get better and better. He's just so he just knows a lot about stuff I don't. Also met Fly Sim, Flying Jackal, Jack, creator of the wonderful 737-200, and also the 727, which will, I guess, has the update V2 out now or very shortly. He also makes a couple other planes that I enjoyed, so it was good meeting you, Jack. Torbinator, a guy I fly with a lot online, on Pilot Edge and elsewhere. I was able to meet Torbinators. Also Brooks, F-18. Gyrohead, Philip, and it was fun hanging out with you guys. Appreciate you helping us out with the taxiing from venue to venue there, Brooks. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. Once we got into the convention, I didn't participate in a lot of the seminars, mostly because they seemed to be P3D or FSX oriented, and I don't know. I just spent time on the floor and with YouTube and streamers and friends out on the floor. Was able to have a good conversation with Cameron Sun from X Aviation and IXEG, and also one of the developers, Tom. Great guys. Posted a couple pictures up on the Facebook group. Very friendly, very awesome guys. Also was able, like I said before, able to meet Frugal, and I had a good debate with Frugal about what I see is coming down the pipe with a few developers. We had a good conversation. It was a great time to meet Mr. Jeff Faviano, and really enjoy his content. I can see why he has such a large following. Met Nova Wing, who does a great vlog on P3D FSX, Dovetail. I'm not sure if he's doing much X-Plane vlogging. He probably does. I just haven't caught any of it. But was kind of telling him about a few of the streamers out there that he should watch for X-Plane, just to get an idea of what's going on in that sim. So, yeah, it was a good time. The two seminars that I had to go to were online air traffic control, and also X-Plane. And of course, any of you that follow YouTube or any of the major forums, kind of a steep takeoff there, almost a tail strike. Know that X-Plane 10.5 was talked about in that forum, and also a little bit of what they're thinking about with regards to X-Plane 11. Pretty exciting stuff. A lot of vlogs about that. I was excited about the 10.5 tall buildings coming in. I was also excited about the new user interface that's coming for version 11, and also a new lighting engine. And you can catch that full presentation on YouTube just by doing a search for Flight SimCon 2016 and X-Plane 11. All right, well, we're coming out of Phoenix here. This is the IXEG 733, of course. And we're going to do a take it off here at sundown. Anyway, so yeah, it was a good time. I was able to test out the Oculus Rift and do a 3D sit down, put the goggles on in a Baron and a Baron 58, and it was pretty cool. I was surprised that I could take my hands up and it would mimic me twisting a knob inside the virtual reality. Excuse me. Still not quite over a little bug I caught. I also lost a bet, so I have to wear this staff for today. It'll be gone tomorrow. You should have seen it yesterday. It was flight chops. Yeah, I had a good conversation with one of the great developers for product in FSX and P3D, and that is A2A Simulations. Had a good conversation with Scott, and he said, well, I asked him point blank. I said, listen, you have some great products. You do some amazing things. Any ambition or thoughts toward X-Plane? And he flat out said, no, I have no intention for X-Plane. And long story short, he was basically talking about the market share. And I even believe he said that the numbers may be going down. And I think that is, I'm not sure where he's getting the information. I have all utmost respect for Scott and A2A and the whole team there that's developing some amazing aircraft. But I think the X-Plane numbers are actually going up. I think due to some amazing products that have come out recently, I think it's going up. So, but anyway, I hopefully in the future he sees that the market share is increasing, and he'll contemplate the idea. One thing did come out of that conversation though, and that is, I brought up the idea of doing a Cirrus. There was a couple of us standing around, and we brought up the idea of doing a Cirrus SR-22, and that kind of piqued his interest. And he said, "Well, I don't know anyone that has one." And then we, of course, pointed to our friend Max, who has one. And so it would not surprise me if one day A2A does a Cirrus SR-22, and they, I can see it now. They get out the microphones, and they're recording the sounds of Max's Cirrus aircraft. They're telling them to lower or raise the flaps, and they got the microphones up there, and they're recording the sounds. So that'd be pretty cool for the P3D and FSX world to have a really nicely done A2A Cirrus SR-22. So I imagine it'd take at least a year or two to make it proper. But if it had G1000 procedures, how cool would that be? Anyway, moving on. I did notice that there was very much so a lack of X-Plane at the Flight SimCon. There was, I think, one table there that had I think it was a GoFlight module set, and they had at one point during the convention, they did have the IXEG 733 running. But when I was out there on the GoFlight booth, was that they were actually running P3D and FSX. So yeah, I'm hoping over time. I will say that the X-Plane session with Austin and his team from Laminar, that was a packed room. That was fully packed. So that was good to see. But I'm hoping that down the road, Laminar has a booth. I'm hoping that FlyJ Sim has a booth. I'm hoping that IXEG has a booth. What about JAR Design and V-Flight, Airfoil Labs, and just really get their product out there. I'm hoping that happens. And it got me thinking, how great would it be if we had a Flight SimCon that was out west, maybe at the opposite time of the year, say November in Vegas, Flight SimCon West, or and I brought up this idea with a few of the guys back at the convention in Connecticut, and they said, yeah, we should name it Sim and Sin 2017, if we did it in 2017. I'm like, yeah, that's probably not the most family-friendly name, so, And then I started thinking about it, and I thought, maybe an X-Plane conference, because as far as I know, I may be wrong. I don't think there's an in-person get-together for X-Plane. So let's say in November 2017, it's Xplane Con, and it's in Vegas. How many of you would actually attend that? And now keep in mind that the first annual Xplane Con in Vegas would probably have a dozen people there. And then the following year, maybe 30 people. And then over time, it would grow. And the first year is probably going to be more of a social gathering, get together, not necessarily have formal presentations or demonstrations, but get together. We might be able to get our hands on a nice sim to play around with. We'll see what the momentum tells us, whether or not that's a viable idea. But if you like the idea, comment on the video below that whether or not you would personally attend an X-Plane conference in Las Vegas. And maybe we should shoot for 2018. I got a few developers and a few vendors to they would come. In fact, one major vendor who I won't name said, if you can get one person to register, we'll come. I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, so that's something to think about. And that would solve the issue of the lack of X-Plane at a convention, because it would be all X-Plane eventually. And maybe 5 years down the road, we got enough for a showroom. It'd be interesting. So the two seminars that I did attend were the online ATC panel, experts panel, which included IVEO, VATSIM, PilotEdge, Boston ARTCCC, I think, a gentleman from liveatc.net, and then also the gentleman that does the cockpits. Can't remember the name of the company. Something with a V. It'll come to me. Anyway, these gentlemen got up there and they were talking about online ATC. For the first 35, 40 minutes, it seemed like it was just an advertisement to anyone who was not on ATC. And so for me, like about the 30-minute mark, I thought, you guys, there's a handful of people in this room that are already on online ATC. Let's talk about some of the subjects that are relevant to the current base of users. But they really, it finally went that way when we did the Q&A part of the session. But before that, it was just trying to convince people to get online. And yeah, probably half the room hadn't been online or had maybe a bad experience online. So, but it was good to hear the different providers give their spiel. When they asked for questions, many of you, some of you saw that I raised my hand, 2 hands, and said, "Hey, yeah, I got a question," and they came to me, and I asked the question about, are there any plans for an updated codec? Or, sorry, well, the way I phrased it was, do you have any plans to improve the audio quality of your product? And then maybe if any of you have a product that has too high of a quality, maybe making it sound a little more like VHF communications. And so each of them went down, and the answer that I got across the board was, yes, VATSIM has plans to change their audio, and so does IVEO. And PilotEdge has been considering lowering their quality because they have such a high quality audio to something more VHF. But they were very honest. Keith Smith said, "Hey, listen, it's not our biggest priority," and I can understand that. My main goal at asking that question was to try to get people like VATSIM to improve their audio quality, so people would have less difficulty understanding some of the controllers and the terminology and the pilots. I mean, you introduce a bad microphone along with a bad audio codec, and it's just going to turn people away. So I'm really excited to hear that down the road, VATSIM and IVEO's audio's a little bit better. I think it's a little bit different platform, but I hope both of them improve it, and we get to a point where I can fly outside of the PilotEdge network because I can understand everyone. So anyway, interested to hear what your thoughts are on audio on the online ATC networks. Yeah, there was a couple of things that came out. I picked up on the fact that this plane, the IXEG 733, is coming out with a major nice update. The rumor is that it'll be version 1.11. I don't know if that means they're going to skip 1.07, 08, 09, 010 or not, or if a lot of the things they're talking about are going to be in 1.11 and they're just going to go to that number. I don't know, but those were the rumors. The rumors could be completely off. I don't know. And maybe if they see this vlog and say, oh, we better not validate JonFly Nostradamus prediction. No, just kidding. It was great to talk to IXEG, X Aviation, Cameron, and Tom, and they just have a phenomenal product. So yeah, let's see if the new version here in the next little while is 1.11. Last topic of the day is I wanted to talk about FS economy. So FS economy, and I'm just going to bring my plane along here so we can catch the arrival. Scenery's got to load here though. Many of you have seen my FS economy live streams and YouTube videos, and I'm really excited about FS economy and its future. I have a lot of fun having jobs to do, and I have a lot of fun watching my bank account go up, having a purpose when I fly, and I just want to encourage any of you that are thinking about doing FS economy, or if you haven't heard about it, go onto YouTube, type in FS economy, one word, into the YouTube search. It'll come up with many good videos with people talking about how to do it, and also several of my videos you'll see where I actually walk through, how I set up a flight, etc. Some of the videos are how to set up the client itself. So I encourage you to look for those on YouTube. Just setting up the approach here into Albuquerque. But for those of you who have not seen my YouTube videos or my live streams, FS economy is a virtual economy. For example, you load up your Cessna 206 at Ontario, California, and you're at the airport. You go to the FS economy website. It says that, hey, there are 4 passengers that want to go down to McClellan, Palomar. These are the airfares for those passengers. And you can accept the assignment, assign it to you, get the correct fuel, get the plane loaded, and then when you are ready to go, you log on to your client inside your simulator, whichever simulator you run, and you say, yep, let's start flight. Boom. You then taxi and take off out of Ontario. You fly down to Palomar and you land, and you turn your engine off, and then you tell the client, yep, unload the passengers and give me my money. And then it takes away your fuel costs, your plane rental costs, your ground crew fee costs, etc. There's also maintenance costs for planes that you own. And then over time you're building up money in a bank account, and then you can buy, not only can you buy planes, but you can also buy FBOs, or you can operate a service outlet at an airport that gives fuel and maintenance and stuff like that. So right now I own 2 planes. I fly basically 3 different planes on FS economy, soon to be a 4th, and it's a lot of fun. I'm getting up to about $300,000 in the bank. I'm trying to get up to 650, 700,000 so I can buy my next plane, which will be a Caravan. Some of you are already on FS Economy, and if you are, you know that come July 1st, there's going to be some new ownership fees involved, and some people are not too happy about it, but it's certainly bringing the price down of aircraft, because a lot of people are getting rid of planes that are in their hangars that are going to start to be charged if they're just sitting there. I think the main purpose or main motivation is to get planes that haven't been used for years to go back to the network after either people selling them back into the system and or they being repossessed because people aren't paying their monthly fees. So here we are coming into our runway 3 here in Albuquerque, and you can see the nice lights and reflection off the tarmac here. Coming in, touchdown to Maine, so not too bad. So anyway, I really appreciate you joining me today. I look for any suggestions on how I can, what I can have in the upcoming episodes. Episode 3 will probably be in 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10 days or less. And I appreciate any suggestions. Please check out the X-Plane users group on Facebook. I'll pop up a link here either in the show notes below or on the screen. And also try to catch me live on twitch.tv/JonFly. That's JonFly. You click the follow button. You can also be notified of an email. Whether or not the email would say JonFly is going live, and then you're able to catch me live. It'd be a lot of fun to do that. I am excited because I just finished some scenery for the Dallas area. I bought the KDFW scenery, and then I loaded some mesh around the area. So maybe my next live stream will be from here, Albuquerque, into Dallas, Fort Worth. Anyway, thanks for joining me today, and you guys have fun out there flying. Talk soon. Look forward to the comments. Adios.